right, you guys? Podcast time.
Chew. It's quieter.
Fucking podcasting right now.
Chew quieter.
And now, to the podcast studio.
It's another Chew Quieter. We are back. And I survived the tornado. Yeah, I survived the tornadoes that were coming through Shelbyville. Can you believe it?
I was watching that thing just go right over your house.
Dude, it was kind of sketch for a while.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, that aren't familiar with the weather in the southeast area, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, we had a humongous storm that just came through, and there was tornadoes all day. And eventually one had two different storm cells had merged together, and it happened to merge right over my city and caused quite a bit of ruckus. So
yeah,
it was,
there was some big hail. I think Matt was showing some big hail pieces on some roofs that he was looking at for clients. And I was watching that day on the radar and watching it go over your house and looking at that and kind of going over and going, oh shit, it was bad.
So
I think the week before there was another storm that Jeremy said it was going over Ashley's house and up in Ohio, up in that area.
It's that time of year.
It's that time of year. Roofs to go flying away.
Right. So it was odd. The local weather guy, he focuses in specifically on our city. He's just a local weather enthusiast type guy. And I think he's going to school for it. He's a young guy. Focuses mostly on our city and a little bit more broadly the county of Bedford County.
Okay.
So when he starts talking, and he does Facebook Live when it gets really bad, so people are alerted. The tornado sirens out here aren't always that audible, depending on where you live. So
do you hear them?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was going off then. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh yeah. So he has a live weather map, and he'll zoom in on certain neighborhoods. And we're listening to him. My wife's watching it. And I'm just listening to it. And all of a sudden you hear him say, if you're in the Union Station subdivision, take shelter now. And I'm like, oh, fuck. That's us. And he names my street specifically. And I'm like, oh
your
fuck.
Your street specifically. Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck. So the wife just emptied out the closet that's on the lower level in the middle of the house. Empties the closet, puts the couch cushions in there, and kind of gets it ready just in case. I'm out, at the window, kind of like looking where the storm is coming from on that side of the house. And I'm just like, fuck, that is a big fucking cloud. Like, if that thing materializes, we're fucked. Like, I don't even think hiding in this closet is going to like shelter us. But luckily, it didn't actually form right over us. It kind of like just did the atmospheric cycling, and it didn't actually go from cloud to ground. So we got lucky.
That's good.
Unfortunately, other people didn't get they weren't as lucky. So I hope they rebuild quickly and everyone's safe.
So were those people like in your neighborhood or like just north of you?
So just actually east of us in Columbia, there was a tornado that touched down there, and it ripped through some farms and some houses. Our buddy Mark Hendricks lives just outside of Columbia in Mount Pleasant. So that's the closest person that I know that was affected by it. Nothing happened to his house, obviously, but that's the closest person I know that was near that activity. That touched down.
The big touchdown.
Yeah.
So do you have trees or anything knocked down? Branches broken, stuff like that? Nothing?
Probably just branches broken, but no trees came down over there.
No trees. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
But where the tornado went through, there was ravage. It was ravaged.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts to see the energy that those those have with them, what they can take out as they pull through.
Mhm.
I remember Will and I were driving across the country one year, and with the truck and the big trailer, and there was like a tornado warning, and someone jokingly told us, "Yeah, look at those pictures of tornadoes going through and picking up big haulers and semi trucks." Or watch us going, "Oh fuck, we don't want to go any further. We'll stay here." It's like, "Oh yeah, we're staying in this area for the night. We're not even going to attempt to go closer to that side over there."
Yeah.
It's like you see these things with it's a full semi truck and trailer that are going flying down the freaking road. They're 100 yards from the road where they got picked up and thrown.
Yeah.
Like, what do? Do you, like, as soon as it comes up, do you jump off and hope that you only have to drop 20 feet out of the truck?
I think you just hold on and hope for the best. You just
that thing throws you 100 yards. I mean, you're not surviving that. I'd rather, do you take my chances? Do you take your chances?
Yeah, but have you seen those people that get swept up like in the cyclone of the tornado and they get thrown from even further distances?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's the right answer. In the truck and hope that you don't go quite as far with the weight of whatever you're holding.
That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I would just hunker down in the truck. Just
hunker down.
Hopefully,
seatbelt on. On.
Yeah.
Kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Smoke my last doobie if I had it.
Pound the gummies. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So now that that storm has passed, we're dealing with cicadas now.
Oh, yeah, because it's starting to get a little warmer. And what's the temperature today?
Let's see.
What's your high today?
Right now we're at 74.
70. So your high today was probably 74, 75-ish.
Yeah. It's been a little cool.
It's not hot yet.
No, it hasn't been terribly hot lately. I think the hottest we've gotten this year was around 86.
Humidity coming up.
Humidity's been high. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you start getting the bugs start coming.
Yeah. So we have 2 different cicadas that came out of the ground this year. And it's like, I think it's like the first time in a couple hundred years this has happened.
They're both out. So it's double the cicada population.
Yeah. The sound that they make when there's just one breed of cicada is kind of cool. But when you have double that or maybe triple that, the sound they make is crazy. I was driving down our street with the windows down and the radio off, and you could just hear them in the trees. It's loud.
Yeah.
So the let me see if you can hear this.
I don't know. I'm leaning into the microphone for it. I got the headphones on.
So that was, I just got that off my phone, just sticking it outside. That was the sound I got. I don't know if you heard it or not.
I can't hear it. Didn't hear it.
Okay, let me try it again because if you didn't hear it, then everyone else didn't hear it probably. Oh crap, I can't share it. I'll put it in post. But yeah, it's loud. It's an amazing sound, really. It's
really cool. I don't mind it when we're back with where cicadas are at. I hear them. It's kind of relaxing a bit, but I don't mind it so much. But I couldn't imagine constantly having that sound and then doubling up with 2 species of them out there and that population being like double up. Yeah, I think that might be a little crazy because they're trying to overpower each other, so they're going to get louder. Yeah.
So where I live at, there's a creek, or as they call it, a crick.
A crick. It's a crick.
There's a crick right in my house. So I have cicadas going. Of course, I have crickets going and frogs. So it sounds like a fucking a real life fucking Mark Twain book going on right outside my house. It's crazy.
Do you feel like you're in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
Or something, yeah.
With all the crickets and the frogs in the back.
Yeah, it can get kind of cool, and then at the same time it's a little eerie. Like when we went outside to try to look at the northern lights, like it was dead quiet all of a sudden. It's like
they didn't
magnetic.
like the.
It's like the magnetic energy from that didn't jive with the critters.
Yeah, just kept them inside.
Yeah, which is fine. It just means that I'm not getting bombarded, hitting the head with flying cicadas.
Yeah, well that's always good.
My wife is freaking out about those things. As she sees one, she's like, "I'm not going outside."
Yeah, and you're scared of bugs. They're not like they're little teeny little gnats somewhere. They're big old freaking ugly things.
They're like a half inch to an inch. And
they're not little.
No, and they're ugly as fuck. So yeah, that's been Tennessee for the last couple of weeks. Just crazy thunderstorms, possible tornadoes, and cicadas. Yeah. I'll take it. I'd rather have that than high taxes and a bunch of woke governors trying to tell me what I can and can't do.
Any day of the week.
Yeah.
I'll take rattlesnakes, scorpions, black widows, javelina, whatever the desert wants to throw at me, I'll take it 100%.
Well, at least you can hunt javelina too.
Yeah. But
there's a good way to make it. I know you don't like it, but there's a good way to make javelina.
I haven't heard anyone out here find a way to do it. Will made a javelina chorizo a while back. I believe it was a javelina chorizo that he made, and I cooked up and went, nope. and I don't mind a game. I like fresh meat and game meat, but that was just a little much.
Yeah. I love pork.
Yeah, but that's not really pork. It's like pork mixed with bear meat.
Yeah, because you can get trichinosis from it,
and it's kind of gross.
So speaking of hunting stuff, recently there was a senator that came out and reintroduced something called the SHUSH bill, and it's basically a bill that it's an acronym. It's Silencers Helping Us Save Hearing Act. And this was put out by Senator Good, Bob Good from Virginia. Basically what this is saying is, hey, this is an accessory. This isn't a firearm. This should not be regulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what he's trying to do is pass this bill so it gets rid of the tax stamp. It takes it off the NFA list.
Okay.
Which I'm all for because I love silencers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
have them on all my in-home firearms because I don't want to shoot one. I mean, I will shoot one without one in the house if I have to, but I would rather not blow my eardrums out.
Well, the nice thing is at least if you don't have one on, if you miss, you can blow the ears out.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus I have one. So I have in my home, I have a silencer on every gun that is not in my safe. So that means on both of my 9mm and one on my 300 blackout. The 300 blackout with subsonics, that is the quietest thing that I have ever heard with a projectile. It's movie quiet. It's almost comical how quiet it is.
Yeah,
because you shoot it and all you hear
that'd be cool to see.
All you hear is the bolt.
All you hear is
it's just the noise from the spring, the bolt going back and forth. That's really all you hear.
Yeah, usually all I hear is like the little bit of gas release out from behind, a little poof.
Yeah, it's just a little. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah.
So I shot mine.
It's nice.
When I got my can for my 300 blackout, I went outside at my house and I shot it at the retaining pond. Wasn't supposed to do that, obviously, but
obviously that sounds like it's bad.
But so I didn't hear it, but I heard the ricochet from the bullet hitting a rock.
I heard a splash and a ricochet.
I was like, oh, I wonder where that went.
Yeah.
It's probably better. Probably should go inside now.
Yeah. Hopefully that just went into the forest, not to the neighbor's house.
Yeah. And then a couple months back, I think I've said it before on the show, where I was really belligerent and drunk. And I took my 9mm, just went outside my garage door and let off a couple of rounds in the empty field. That sounded more just like a firecracker type thing.
That was the one with the other episode.
Yeah. One of these days I'll have to send you that video. It's kind of comical.
I'm sure it is. That's to be funny to see that. Oh yeah. Oh.
So anyway,
those drunken ventures.
Yeah. So this bill is sponsored. It has 7 different sponsors, co-sponsors, and it's supported by the obviously Gun Owners of America and National Association for Gun Rights. A couple of groups that are pro 2A. I have a feeling with everything that's going on in the courts right now, that the ATF is thin. All of their excuses that they're making for why we need to have the NFA, why we need to pay $200 tax stamps for this and that, why a pistol brace is bad, but a stock on the similar length rifle is okay. All of that shit that they're trying to do is just, they're not making any fucking sense. So with all the court cases going on right now, they're wearing thin. And I have a feeling that this bill actually has a chance now, because this is the second time it's been introduced. The first time I think was in 2020, and it didn't get very far.
Yeah, well, that was the start of some attacks on the gun rights back then. Yeah. So it was basically the start of the fight. So now that it's worn thin, and some of the stuff, the California stuff's all been knocked out, and some other things are happening. So yeah, time might be good.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me to something that happened in New York. I don't know if anyone heard about this or not, but there was this guy that I think it was in the Bronx. This poor woman who was just walking down the street, minding her own business, trying to get home. I think it's at night. And this fucking scumbag throws a belt around her neck, chokes her out, and rapes her between 2 parked cars on the street.
I didn't hear about this.
It was mostly New York news, but it made headlines recently when a bunch of people found this guy, because there was video of the attack.
Oh, okay. It's
so
street view video, or ring video cameras or something like that from the houses.
Yeah. So
good.
There was a group of people on the street, and they recognized the guy, and they stopped him and pretty much beat the shit out of him until the cops got there.
Little street justice.
So some street justice was going on. I'll show you the video really quick. The cops are trying to protect him.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Don't let him come home, they're saying. So, what do you think about that, first of all? And then second question is, what do you think about that just becoming a normal thing in New York? Because the New Yorkers are sick and tired of it.
Oh, it's not going to be a normal thing anymore. I mean, it's happening right now. All these weird illegals and crime and stuff that's happening in the middle of the street that was kind of common in New York in the 70s and 80s, and then they turned that around and cleaned it up and made it so that it's more tourist friendly, and you can actually walk down the streets in Times Square. For years I've been able to go out and visit New York and not have a problem where you're going to get pickpocketed like every place you went. You weren't going to get stabbed. You weren't going to get any of that, like the stories you heard of in the 70s and 80s when that all turned around. But the thing that people don't realize is these little communities are like families, right? And they'll let you fuck around enough, but then when they back and get into that corner like that, they're not going to stop. They're going to protect their people. They're going to protect the neighborhood. They're going to do whatever they can to stop that. And they're not going to care about stupid laws and who you are, where you're from. As far as the cops protect him, that's the police job.
That's their job.
They protect her regardless of he should be just let to the lions and they could have turned their back on him. Their job is to protect and serve, and they're protecting and serving. So there's nothing that the cops are doing that is wrong there, I don't feel. And yeah, you could have turned your back and just walked away, and the guy could have been dead, and you could have just sent the meat wagon to pick him up. But no, that's going to end. And people in New York are going to get tired. They love their communities. They're very tight, and especially you get on a block where someone knows that lady, that lady comes to her shop every day, that lady frequents whatever that may be, whoever her relationship is to that community, they will protect that. And that's something that people don't get in a lot of places. You get some of the small towns that will do that, where you end up in pig farm somewhere.
Yep. So this is the video. I'm not going to show all of it because obviously I don't want to glorify rape or anything like that. But this is the start of what happened to her.
So is that
so right there? She's basically passed out.
Is that trunk open in that car, or is it just a hatchback?
No, it's a hatchback.
It's a hatchback. Okay.
I'm going to stop it right there because that's where it starts to get very graphic. But yeah, you can see that he basically choked her out with the belt.
That's nuts.
So, good to those people that caught him. Also B, good on those people that beat the shit out of him. And I guess thank to the police for protecting him. So that way there's actually some sort of secondary justice that comes with it.
Well, all it's going to do is going to allow him to live through a trial. As soon as he gets into a jail cell, he'll be done.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
You get sent up to Rikers. You get put on one of the islands, and you get behind bars. Believe me, the news of that is going to travel very fast, and you'll live about 48 hours in the jail. So the good thing is it won't be taxed on the jail system for very long.
Right. Speaking of sexual acts, pedophile Joe Biden. Actually, Biden finally has admitted that her diary that was stolen from her is in fact hers. And the portion of her diary that says that her father was in the shower with her as she was a prepubescent woman, he was naked in the shower with her, is true.
Wait, you mean it wasn't the Russians that planted that?
No.
With the laptop? Really?
No. Just like
I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked.
Just like it wasn't the Russians with saying that Trump was colluding with them. That never happened either.
I'm shocked. I'm devastated.
Yeah. So even Snoops, the very liberal fact-checking website Snoops, is that what's called Snoops or Snops or something?
Snopes. I think it's Snopes.
They changed their outtake on it as factual.
So now I can post up on Facebook, and I won't get the fact checkers telling me that no, the fact checkers. Here's the thing with Facebook fact checkers is that they'll look at it and there's one word out of place. Oh no, he never said that because there was an extra the in there. I'm like, what the fuck, really? Come on,
you've taken this out of context.
You've taken it out of context. There's the word he said was this. I'm like, what the fuck is different if he said fuck or fucker?
Yeah. So I find it interesting that so many people are trying to protect Joe Biden from this, and it's no longer they can't protect him anymore. I think she, for her own sake of trying to get this person in jail and found guilty, she ousted her father.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. The whole protection of him and hearing how great of a job he's doing and what positive. I'm like, what positive is he doing? Like, it's I don't know. It's frustrating. It just pisses me off. I'm like,
there is no positive. Even
there's nothing. There's nothing.
The most recent report on inflation, as of April, inflation has gone up another 0.5%.
Yeah. And gas prices keep popping up. I think just overnight it went from like 409. It's at 409 and it went up to like 449, like overnight, just like because fucking what? who knows? And then it trickled back down again a little bit, but it's
his policies. So remember, he first of all, he closed the first thing he did was close down the pipeline.
And stop the fracking and
stop the fracking. And the other thing he did was he sold off our reserves, and then he bought them back at a higher price.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking idiot would sell something for dirt cheap and then buy it back for double the price?
Someone who's getting their pockets lined for whatever it is.
So it's definitely, people say, oh, it's not Biden's fault that there's inflation. It's not his fault that manufacturers are raising their prices. It actually is his fault because he's raising the gas prices, which means that shipping inventory to these manufacturers has gone up. Manufacturing things has gone up because of taxes. So now these manufacturers have to raise their prices to compensate for importing, for actual manufacturing, and for selling these things because of the higher tax rate. So yes, it is Joe Biden's fault.
That salaries. I mean, when you have all these liberal states that are raising minimum wage for a freaking fast food worker to $20 an hour.
Oh God!
But they don't understand what that means, because there are companies that have minimum wage workers that aren't fast food that now can't hire people because you have to compete with $20 an hour now. Where like so Arizona minimum wage is $12.90 an hour, something like that, $12.95, something like that. It's just under $13 an hour. That's a minimum wage, but all the fast food places are paying $15 to $17 an hour to start.
Yep.
So now the county has entry-level jobs that pay minimum wage, custodial workers, people that empty the trash, just meet the minimum jobs that you don't need any real skills for, but you can start working for the county. You can start working your way through. You start putting your time. You get a pension. You get retirement. You get savings plans. You get life insurance. You get help with you get medical insurance, dental insurance, eye care insurance. You get help with education. All these different programs that the government entities, or even some of the private companies here offer, that are part of your money. But now they have to compete with $20 an hour because people don't look at any of the other things, other factors there.
Yeah.
So now you have to imagine that $20 an hour doesn't just make it fast food expensive, and now trickles down to your government. So now, or any other manufacturing, I'm sure everywhere it goes across, but then the guys that were making $20 an hour with some skill now have to make $28 an hour to make it worth the skill.
Yep.
So all the salaries go from here to here when they raise the minimum wage or they force a minimum wage on certain workers, because I don't know, they cried so much about it's not a living wage. Well, it's not a living job.
It's not meant to be a living wage.
Fast food workers at the very basic level of fast food is for teenagers and maybe some older people, maybe people with disabilities that don't really want to have to work or think or do anything. You just go and you hand the food and you do that, whatever. And you can make good money in fast food. You work through the ranks, you become a manager, you become a GM of a store, and those people make a ton of money.
Yeah.
I think a Chick-fil-A manager makes like $100+ a year. So there's money to be made, but you want to stick and be the cashier or the person at the drive-thru for 30 years, you're not going to make a living wage on that. And it shouldn't be a living wage. It's backwards how we think that you should be able to make a career out of that when you should be making yourself better with it.
Right.
And there's none of that. There's growth. There's growth to be had there. But there's some people that don't want to do more steps to grow. They just want to live where they live and they're happy with it. And that's fine. But you have to understand that you're not going to have all of the availability of things and funds and everything else that everyone else has. So there's the inequity. The inequity is you. It's not the system.
There was a article a couple of weeks ago, actually, maybe it was a month ago, but it had side by side a Big Mac from the 80s and a Big Mac of today.
I saw that. It's like half the size and
it's
3 times the price.
And, yes.
10 times the price or whatever like that.
In California.
Yeah, and I get it. And I'm looking going, I know I didn't grow. My hand didn't grow in
right.
in 30 years. My hand hasn't grown. I'm a little too old for that. Maybe if I was 5 and I'm 25 and I'm like, yeah, maybe it grew because my hand was smaller. Then no, from what I remember when I was in my 20s, my hand's the same size.
Yeah. So in California,
maybe a little fatter, but seems
in California, that Big Mac is now going to be almost $20.
Yeah.
Because they increased the minimum wage in California.
Which is $20.
Mandatory minimum wage.
Yeah. So even right now, I believe that the Big Mac meal, the last trip I went into, I was like driving. It wasn't a Big Mac meal. It was actually a quarter pounder meal. It was like $14.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a small fry and a small drink.
Mm-hmm.
But also French fries. When did French fries become $4?
It's insane. It's just a fucking potato.
It's one potato. Potatoes are at the grocery store at the full retail price, 79, 89 cents a pound.
Yeah.
So it's 89 cents worth of potato at retail, which means basically McDonald's buys them in bulk and processes and whatever. And that's now 20 cents worth of potatoes probably.
Mm-hmm. It's because that truck that's trucking in all that food
it has to pay for fuel.
has to pay $6 a gallon for diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Where before he was only paying $2, maybe $3 at the most on the high end.
Yeah. Yeah, I just filled up today again. It's $4.09 for diesel.
Thanks, Joe Biden. You're awesome.
Yeah, $115 to fill the tank in the truck.
Definitely not voting for Joe Biden this year. Or next year, or every day, or any other Democrat or anything else. So that leads me to a question that I had for you because of the inflation. When you go to a restaurant, do you pay attention to the prices of the food that you're possibly going to order?
100%.
What if you know you're going to an expensive restaurant? Do you still pay attention to that price?
Well, I go. How am I put this so it doesn't sound ridiculous? We don't. I don't eat out a lot. I cook, and for me, I'd rather go to the store, go to the local butcher, get a good steak, and make dinner at home. It's very rare that go to a dinner out that's like a high-end dinner out. I think the last time we went to a high-end dinner, we went with the girls. It was like $400.
Wow.
It was probably right after Christmas. But we went to the local steakhouse that's been in business here for 50 years, Durant in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And the steaks there, you know you're going to spend $75 for a steak. And I was completely unhappy with the meal I got, because I know that for all that money, I could have went and bought 4 tomahawks for the local dealer, the local butcher, that are dry aged. They probably only needed 2, and spent $120 on 2 pieces of meat, and done it at home and done it way better.
Yeah.
So
make your own loaded baked potato with everything you want for
everything I want. I make
$3.
oysters Rockefeller. I make oysters Rockefeller. Go to the freaking Asian market and go get oysters. Shuck them myself. Yeah, it's the work, but it's also work that I enjoy. I love being in the kitchen, and cooking is kind of my thing. So it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of a fun thing for me to do. And one of my big things is recreating a dish that someone else has. We go to New Orleans and get char grilled oysters, and I'm making them at home.
Mm-hmm.
And tweaking it every time, tweaking it a little better to make sure that I get it to be exactly what feels like there. And that's a challenge for me, and it's fun. So I would rather go out and spend a day sourcing all the shit and making dinner myself than go to a restaurant and be disappointed because my expectation is it's going to taste like this, and they have a bad day or whatever. They got a bad cut of meat. Mm-hmm. We ordered Delmonico steaks, and they were terrible. They were gristly. The flavor was great, but the quality wasn't in the meat. And I just it would just probably be the last time that I go out and really have a dedicated time to go out and have an expensive steak at a restaurant, because I'm just not really satisfied anymore.
So the reason why I bring this up is twofold. One, we just finished talking about inflation, but also because my wife Jennifer just celebrated her birthday, so we went out to one of our favorite restaurants in Tennessee, in Nashville. It's called Urban Grub. Shout out to Urban Grub, by the way. Fantastic high-end food. It's large portions, so you get what you pay for. Matt Loxley was the first one to recommend that place to me, so fuck you, Matt. So we went, and
I've eaten there with Matt and Caitlin.
It's really good.
It's a really good restaurant. That cool little RT part of town.
Yeah.
Outside of downtown. It's just in a cool little, it's like a neighborhood, a walking neighborhood area type place.
Yeah, it's on 12th.
It's really cool. Yeah. On 12th out there. There's that ice cream place down the street. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of cool restaurants and stuff out there to kind of go see and hang out at.
So we go to this restaurant, and if it's a special occasion, I don't mind spending the money. And I didn't bother really looking at the prices. I just knew what I wanted, and I knew whatever I was going to order from there was going to be good. So I saw they had a limited edition pastrami melt. It's basically like a patty melt, but it's pastrami. And it was one of the best pastrami sandwiches I have ever had. And then it ended up only being $20.
Wow.
I was blown away by that, because I was like, okay, this is going to be expensive. And then I look at the price, just because I have to take my glasses off. I'm getting that old now where I have to take my glasses off to read. And I actually need a whole new prescription, because my eyes are so fucked up right now. But there was another time we went to a local restaurant, and I didn't even look at the menu. It was the first time we went in. I asked the waiter, "What do you suggest?" He says, "Have you heard of our pork chop?" I said, "I've heard of pork chops. I have not heard of your pork chop." He's like, "You've got to try it." I was like, "Okay, I'll do the pork chop." Didn't even look at the menu. He even suggested the appetizer. Didn't even look at the menu. Just said, "Okay, let's do it." My wife looked at the menu. She got what she wanted. I think she got pasta. So this pork chop comes out, and it's the biggest fucking pork chop I have ever seen.
It's like a big 2-inch cut, or is it thin, just giant?
No, it was 2-inch cut, and it was about as long as my forearm. Like it was just, it was big. They brought it out on a cutting board. It was that big.
Nice. So
I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome. A great big fat piece of pork, this awesome baked potato, and I ended up eating half of it because I couldn't even finish it. The check comes. That was a $70 piece of fucking meat.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck. I might have.
That's like half a pig.
I should have asked how much this thing was, or at least looked at the menu first.
Yeah. So I typically look at the menu because I go to a restaurant and I like want to see like, okay, what else is on there. I'll not look going to a restaurant and see what their menu is. I'll wait to get there, and then especially a new restaurant, and then see what they have, maybe a special. I don't want to go with something in my brain that I want to eat at a restaurant, just in case they have a special that's not on the regular menu that is way better. So I tend to do that. But I've also shied away from a menu because I'm like, I'm not spending $180 for a Kobe freaking a Kobe Wagyu tomahawk at Bourbon and Bones or the steakhouse like that. I just like, I'll just have I'll have the regular ribeye with the sides for $90.
Yeah. Is the ribeye your go-to, or New York strip, or what?
Typically the ribeye is going to be my go-to. I eat a lot more strip, only because as I'm getting older, the fattiness of the steak is not really agreeing with my stomach. So I find that I'm enjoying the little bit leaner cut of a strip.
I agree. I would rather have a ribeye, but I have been leaning more lately to the strip.
Yeah. So what I've been doing lately is going to Costco and getting their the choice ribeyes and a choice strip, putting them together in a bag, sous vide them together, and then grilling them, and then kind of having pieces of each. So I get a little bit of ribeye, and a little bit more of the strip when I want it. So it's kind of works its way out.
I tried to cut off the fat pre-cooking the ribeye once, and it didn't taste the same.
It's not the
it's not the
fat for me. Yeah, you have to cook with the fat. But my problem is the marbling. There's all the fat that's internal. Like you look at a steak and you look at the marbling, and that's how I pick a steak is on a ribeye is look at all the marbling, and then the strip, you don't get the marbling in it like you do with the ribeye. So even if I cook it in with the fat, which is why I bag them together, is that I get the juices to flow. You get kind of a flavor kind of infusion, and then you can kind of eat it without having all the fat in it.
Yeah.
And then you can take off little pieces and have what you want out of it. So that's kind of like my go-to now is the mixture of the two. So I get the best of both worlds.
So we've been trying to eat better and doing things like chicken burgers or turkey burgers, stuff like that. It's so hard to enjoy turkey unless it's in its natural form, like turkey breast, that sort of thing.
Okay, so let's go. What is the difference in turkey burger versus a regular burger?
Well, the main thing is cutting out so much red meat. That's one of the purposes, because we eat a lot of red meat.
Okay, so I don't eat a lot of red meat, so I like once a week I'll have red meat, or maybe twice a week, maybe. But usually I love having chicken constantly. I eat chicken every day of the week. if I was allowed to. Actually, I have a pork roast green chili. It's in the pressure cooker right now.
Nice.
So I do a lot more pork, a lot more chicken, more fish. But for me, I guess because I don't eat a lot of, they don't eat red meat all the time. I'm like, I just have the burger. So when I hear that people say, "Oh yeah, I want to have this over the bed," I'm like, I'd rather just have barbecue chicken and just eat a regular burger the next day.
To me, there's almost nothing better than a really good grilled piece of chicken breast.
Yeah,
if it's on an open flame, like a natural char.
I'm not a breast guy. Well,
Really?
not at least for chicken. No, chicken. I'm dark meat.
I like all of it.
I'll do other thighs. I can just get a bag of chicken legs, grill them up, and I just sit there and just eat that.
Are you a nipple man?
A nipple man?
Yeah. Not on the chicken.
Oh, we've deviated from chicken now. A nipple man? I don't know if I could say I'm a nipple man. What does that mean?
It means that you're constantly just with the nipples between your fingers, just back and forth, like you're rolling
my
silly
own
putty.
too. Like my own too. All right. So I have this pulled up. we're gonna get away from this, the nipple thing. So, looking at 93.7 beef versus 93.7 turkey. Actually, it's all across 85.15, 85.15 turkey. Okay. So 93.7, so 93% lean, 7% fat beef. Same with the turkey. 178 calories for beef, 181 calories for turkey. Saturated fat, you definitely 3.3 grams versus 2.5 grams. And that's probably the biggest shift between the two is 0.8 grams of saturated fat between the two. Everything else is pretty much the same. Sodium, a little more iron in beef, which you need, a little more zinc in beef, which your body needs, a little more vitamin B12, which your body needs. So you're getting more valuable nutrients in the beef than you are getting in the turkey. The only big difference is the saturated fat. Yeah. But it's funny if you look at the fat content, 8 grams of fat in beef, 9.9 grams of fat in turkey. And both pretty equivalent, protein 25 versus 23. It's pretty much non-existent. Now,
what about chicken?
It says turkey. It's only turkey. This is
with
turkey.
With chicken, it's the cholesterol that you have to worry about with the chicken.
Let's see.
At least that's what I've been told.
Let's see if there's not a chart here, you fuckers. I had a nice clean chart that was there. It was a nice scaled chart. I'm like, the hell? Come on.
It's all pie graphs and
yeah. Well, there's not even that.
Pretty.
It's just like let's see. Compared to beef, chicken is a better source of protein. As a result of its high fat content, beef is higher fat and higher calorie meat. Chicken is more vitamin A. Let's see the side by side comparison. Okay, beef. It's not telling me what the breakup of this is. So I don't know if I trust this.
We need to get a nutritionist on this show. Answer these tough questions.
Jake, Steph. So it says beef calories 250 for beef, 231 for chicken. Total fat definitely be 15.4 versus 5 grams, but that doesn't seem right because these numbers of comparison are not even the same. So it's probably high fat beef versus breast that's ground is what it looks like here. Because they're saying total fat 15.4 grams versus 5 grams, saturated fat 6 grams versus 1.4 grams. Yeah, I don't, and then it's not even showing the vitamins. B12, yeah, it says 0.004 milligrams versus 0.0002 milligrams. So B12 is higher in beef. Yeah, it's not even getting to like.
Ultimately, beef is always going to taste better to me.
Oh, 100%. Unless it's a whole chicken, and then I'm in for a whole chicken.
Like a rotisserie chicken?
No, I'm saying just like even chicken thighs. I mean, just like not ground, not processed, nothing like that. Just give me a chicken, and that's the other thing I've been doing lately. I've been buying like bigger pieces and butchering myself and kind of making what I want. I found a place where I can get quarters for like 99 cents a pound for chicken quarters. And then I just cut them up, take out bones, take out the skin, and I have boneless thighs for whatever I want to grill. And then I have legs. And when the kids come over and my sister's kids, my niece and nephews, we usually do like a Taco Wednesday, but it's always mixed up whatever we put in there. So I have a bunch to save over, so we do like a chicken leg dinner because the kids love chicken legs. Yeah,
I need to find me a good local butcher.
Yeah, and it's nice. And so we started going to Costco. So I've, for years, bought the boneless, skinless breasts and thighs in Costco in those pre-packs, little in their fresh meat section. And it used to be $1 a pound, $1.49 a pound, and now boneless thigh meat is more expensive than breast meat at Costco. Can someone explain that to me?
It's because you're not a breast man. You're a nipple man.
I'm just here for the nipples. The breast can go away. I'm just here for the nipples. So I end up like, okay, screw that. I'm just gonna go find another way. So I end up buying these quarters and I make my own boneless thighs. And after I pull everything off, if I get 10 pounds of quarters, I ended up with 6 pounds of boneless meat. So, so even counting that off, it's $1.33 a pound. Is that what it is? $1.33, $1.40 a pound, something like that.
It's not horrible.
I don't know where I'm buying boneless, skinless chicken for $1.40 a pound anywhere these days.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe Biden. So, a couple of things I wanted to bring up also today. I was recently in our local community Facebook group within the city, and I'm already shaking
my head because I've recently just gotten so tired of Facebook. I'm not even like looking at Facebook anymore. It used to be my job to do that. It's not my job anymore. And then I found out I was doing it. I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing this for? I don't need to be here. Because it didn't frustrate me. It just infuriates me how fucking stupid entitled people are.
Yeah. So a couple of things that just jumped out at me. One is the number of lost and found dogs that people post in this thing is incredible. I think this city that I live in has the most irresponsible amount of pet owners that I've ever been around. It's insane.
Are they real? Because the big scam. So this is how all these scams that go, like you look and you see work from home. Oh, yeah. Pepsi's hiring work from home. They pay you $30 an hour to work from home, sit on your ass. Like all those are scams. And that's how people get their Facebook's hacked.
No, these are real. They're like found this dog across the street from the Walmart, and like they'll have the picture and everything. These are legit.
Okay, all right.
The other one is people posting about their car being stolen. Hey, if you see my car, can you tell me? It's like really? I'm gonna just.
Do you seriously think someone's stealing your car and just driving it to fuck around, dipshit?
Yeah.
No, your car was taken to a garage. All the parts that they needed or wanted off of it are gone, or it has a new VIN number, new license plate, new wheels, new tires, some tinted windows, and it's driving around, and you're never gonna know it's there.
Right.
What the fuck?
So the other thing that I saw, and it just kind of really fucked with my mind, because it was obviously a young person, and they asked the question, what would people do today without buying stuff from the internet? And I'm like, okay, this person is obviously not old enough to remember mail-in catalogs.
Everything.
Sears
or
Montgomery
shopping
Ward.
mall.
So that, I mean, like specifically Sears Montgomery Ward were catalogs that you would get. There were thick ass catalogs, almost thicker than the phone book. And they had a number next, it was basically a SKU number. And it had on the back page of something you would either mail in or call and say, I want to order this.
Your order form on the back. And
that was our version of online shopping back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been happening for years. You didn't have a shopping mall in every city, especially imagine your town back 70 years ago, 80 years ago, didn't have shit.
No. It barely had a fucking stoplight.
I know mine did it because mine barely had shit when we moved here 20 years ago. Now it's got all this shit, and I'm just tired of fucking living here. So yeah, but I mean, what did you do? You didn't get up and drive 2 hours to get to Nashville to the closest mall that was there. I mean, just think about that. What shopping mall were available, or even general stores that would have merchandise like that back then? Maybe a Sears store in downtown Nashville. Maybe,
or Montgomery Ward. Those were the two big department stores.
Yeah. So, or JCPenney.
Yeah.
So you get,
but again, the mall did not exist until the mid '60s.
No, what you'd have just a Sears that would be a standalone,
right,
somewhere. But even so, a lot more of them were catalog order centers where it was just a little door on Main Street where you can walk in and someone can kind of guide you through some stuff and then help you take your order. But it wasn't like today at all. No. Or even like in the 90s or in the 80s when 70s and 80s when the malls were the hot thing.
Yeah. I remember the Toys R Us catalog. It was almost the same fucking thing. The bonus to the Toys R Us catalog was they had the aisle of that product. Like, say if I wanted the Game of Life, it told me which aisle it was going to be on in that store. Yeah. And I remember as a kid too, my dad would give me the catalog and say, "Here, go ahead and write down the things that you want for Christmas." And that made it so much easier for them to go to that aisle. Okay, there it is. That's what I'm getting for the kid.
So what Toys R Us did you go to?
I think Cerritos.
Okay, Cerritos was out there. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Either Cerritos or La Mirada.
Okay. Yeah. You guys went the opposite way.
Yeah.
Okay. So I grew up growing up in Monterey Park, Montebello area. It was always Rosemead. Okay.
Or I think Kmart had a bunch of shit like that too. They had
Kmart was like the store, but Kmart wasn't around 70 years ago, 80 years ago.
No.
Or I mean, you figure we're just go back to like when the catalogs were big, where you didn't really have a location, where there wasn't a Montgomery Ward to pre malls and all that. So you're probably 40s, 50s, 60s, where that was happening. That would be a different day than say the 70s. I mean, I remember we used to just go to Montgomery Ward and they'd have it. If they didn't have it, there was a display that you could see, so you should know what you were getting, and then you ordered. They'd bring it in and you'd go pick it up a week or so later.
So do you remember, maybe not, I don't know when they stopped, but you can order guns from catalogs and they would be sent to your door instead of an FFL. Obviously I don't remember this because I wasn't alive, but I remember watching a special on the assassination of JFK, and they said that Oswald had ordered his rifle from a Sears catalog.
Yeah, and it's common. There's a lot of reference to, I think, "Granddaddy's Gun" as a song is about Grandpa ordered his 12 gauge pump shotgun from a Sears Roebuck catalog.
Do you remember the big Sears store in downtown LA?
I don't.
The big warehouse.
Remember? I don't remember. I know the building. I don't remember going there specifically. We never really went to that side of town. But yes, I'm very familiar with that. We used to be part of the cruise scene. You go all the way out and go to LA and whatever. So that was like the weekend spot we passed by.
So in the 90s, it was completely shut down. Remember? It was emptied. It was just windows were bashed out and everything. So this one weekend, a friend and I were like, hey, what if we broke into this place and just had a humongous fucking party? And he's like his mind started like going like, oh my God, we can make so much money.
Yeah. It's all take.
So, we did it. We made some flyers and said, we're having a party here. It's going to be, these are going to be the places you go to get the map for this event to know where it's at. Because if we were going to just announce this is where it's at, it would have been shut down before it even started.
Oh yeah.
So we had people don't realize back in the day now, like we had these parties like this all the time. And to get there, you had to go to what they call the map point. And you get to the map point, you pay $2 for the map. And that was essentially your ticket to get into the party.
Yeah, it's your fee. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had our map point. People would show up, and this place was insanely packed. It was one of the most fun weekends that we had because it went for 2 days before the cops finally shut it down.
Jeez. How did you guys power it?
We so across the street, the building actually was functional, so we just ran lines across the street.
I need to know more about how you guys ran these lines. Is this like back in the old days where you used to get a tweaker that could come install your cable for free?
Yes.
Or $50 and he'd get you hooked up with all the channels for for cable.
Very similar, yeah.
Very similar. Okay.
Yeah.
Tweaker engineering.
Yeah. It's very close to tweaker engineering. We knew a guy that was an electrician. Actually, it was my friend we had the party. His brother was an electrician.
Okay.
So he figured out a way how we can just run a line and for a way for him to not get caught or kill himself with high voltage power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, you guys bring in like a van with a generator. Like, what did you guys do here? How did this work?
I remember another party. My friend would sell the Solo Red cups. He would advertise free beer, but you had to buy the cup.
Yeah. And
it was ingenious because people would just throw away their cup on accident or break their cup on accident or something and have to buy another cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he would go through like 100 pack of these solo cups, and if the beer was gone, the beer was gone. He wouldn't announce it. So people would continue to buy the cups. Hey, where's the keg? The keg is over there. It's in the back of the room.
The keg always moved.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's back over there now.
Yeah.
Oh, they just brought a new one through the front door. Go over there and check what's over there.
So it's basically buy a cup and drink all the beer you want. So people would just $3 for a cup, and he would buy like 2 or 3 kegs. And when the beer was gone, the beer was gone. That was it. But he would make money hand over fist doing that shit.
Yeah, that would be. We had a party in when I lived in Redondo Beach, and it was the neighbors and I. We lived in it was like was it 1, 2, 3, 4, a 6-unit apartment. So all the neighbors and I, we got together. We had one of them bartending. She brought in one of her friends to bartend. We paid him like $100 each, and then you paid $10 at the door. All you can drink until the drinks were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we spent like $300-$400 on booze. I think the take from the party was like $1,800.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy hell, we do this every night. But the cops came, and you can't do that, and you're not supposed to do that. So
I don't know if you remember on Imperial Highway in La Habra, they used to have a whole bunch of industrial parks.
Trying to think there. Okay, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so my friend's girlfriend at the time, her dad lived in essentially what was an industrial garage. He found it to be cheaper to live in this garage than it was to rent an apartment. So he had the idea that, hey, you guys should just have a party within this area of this business park, because on the weekend it is completely fucking dead. So we have the idea to have this party. We rope off all these areas so that cars cannot drive past it. And we had tarps so that you can't just walk in past a certain area. You had to actually pay to get in. It was so fucking big. It got so out of hand that the police came in riot gear to break it up. We had draped black tarp. We had draped black tarp over from roof to roof, so that way the cops and the helicopters can't see the lights. And that worked for a while. But the noise from the speakers, we had 2 different DJs. So the noise from the speakers was just so loud that the neighbors in the adjacent neighborhood would complain.
Call and complain. Fine. Yeah.
So it turned out that, one cop car showed up and realized, holy fuck, I cannot go and break this up by myself. He called for backup.
Yeah. the batter ram and the SWAT team.
The backup came, and the backup was like, hey, dude, there's no way that we're going to fucking just take this party down. So they actually called in the local sheriff department in riot gear. To break it up. So the party's broken up. The DJs, the plan was, hey, Poppy.
I guess Diesel wants to be on the podcast. What's up, Diesel?
So the plan was, as soon as it was broken up, the DJs would just shuffle their equipment into our friend's dad's garage. He closed the garage, and that way the equipment wouldn't be confiscated.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan was that, and as soon as the cops came, whoever organized the party, just fucking leave. And that's exactly what we did. We never got caught.
Yeah, just the patrons there. Patrons are like, I just paid to get in here. That's all they got to do.
We made so much fucking money on that party, though.
There was so many of those parties. I remember growing up in that era, like either downtown in old warehouses, abandoned buildings. They used to chase the parties like that. I specifically remember doing that. By that age, I was probably more of going to clubs and that side of it than house parties. It was more the younger crowd was doing the house party side of it. But I remember like everyone's like, oh, there's house party going on, or there's like warehouse party or big old something happened. You hear people got busted or whatever at these parties like that. I remember that happening. I just wasn't really a frequenter of that side of town.
Do you remember the ditch parties?
Yeah.
The ditch parties were just as big as other parties.
Yeah. Flyers and everything. I remember they used to just be a handwritten flyer that they'd go copy at the school. Then it got into full color printed flyers. And it was like, holy fuck. Like, this is getting a little ridiculous now.
Yeah.
This is getting a little more organized. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think that craziness.
I don't think the young people these days realize the shit they could have gotten away with back then, because there was no cameras on, street corners and all that shit. We didn't have cell phone cameras. We barely had cell phones.
Yeah. One guy that knew the tweaker that could get him the hookup on the cell phone had one, or the one guy who was a drug dealer that, had one, legitimately.
And there were usually cloned cell phones. They weren't legit cell phones.
They weren't legit. Yeah, they were stolen and cloned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have the technology back then where you pick up a phone and someone figured out where you're at and find my iPhone and location and the cops would show up. It's just like, oh, look at this. I can take this out and I can replace it with this and set it up and boom, I have a phone that lets me call wherever the fuck I want, whenever I want. Okay, let's go.
Oh, man, I'm so glad I grew up in the early 90s. We got away with so much.
Yeah.
Now, forget about it. I feel sorry for these fucking kids.
I don't even know if my kid says that there are some house parties, but I don't hear, because if there was a raging house party that people were like getting arrested at or the cops came, that it would be on my neighborhood Facebook page. But I don't hear anything like that. And my kid's kind of nerdy. So she's like, no, we're just going to hang out with my friends. We're just going to hang out. And like the worst they do is they go to the In-N-Out and all the high schoolers are at the In-N-Out taking over the In-N-Out parking lot. And that's kind of the extent of their party scene for my kid.
I think that's probably safer than what we used to go to.
It's definitely safer. Okay, so there are house parties. Let's go back. So have you heard of these Gilbert Goons?
No. So
Gilbert Goons is a suburban gang.
Oh boy.
So it's they're all a bunch of rich kids from Gilbert, Arizona and Queen Creek and the surrounding areas. Their parents are super rich. They own multiple locations of One Stop Nutrition, Orange Theory Gym, and a couple other prominent businesses out in this area. Well, they were going out and just being little dickheads. They beat up and they killed a kid at a party, house party, probably about 5-6 months ago. But the police were asking questions and no one would say anything, and they hid. Their parents hid them good. Out of the country. I mean, the parents knew what was happening and parents hit them well. Mm-hmm. But when your parents have a shit ton of money, you can get hidden. Mm-hmm. Eventually it all came out. So that they arrested all of them, and a couple of these kids, their parents came out and people know who their parents are and the businesses their parents own, and the businesses are being kind of diminished since then. But They went out and they just started just beating on kids. They beat on this kid and killed him. Mm-hmm. So they're all up right now. So it's ridiculous. But that's the house parties that you remember that someone get beat up, someone get jumped, the wrong people would come in, the opposing get.
Well, the most that would happen is we had party crews, which were essentially a group of friends that came up with the witty name for their group. Mm-hmm. And these party crews all had the same thing in common. They just wanted to go to these parties, drink, dance, meet chicks, fuck these chicks, and not have to deal with any drama. So the one other thing that the unspoken alliance was, if a cholo or cholos or gangbangers showed up to these parties, they would all gang up on these fucking gangbangers and make them either go away or all fight them together.
Mm.
And back then, there wasn't a lot of shootings from gangbanging. It was more fists on fisticuffs.
Yeah, more fights. Yeah. Definitely hand on hand back then.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you get a stabbing or a box cutter.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it wasn't quick to pull the gun.
Right. So, for the most part, the parties were safe because of that.
Mm. Yeah.
The biggest issue that you might find is a couple of guys just drunk, just too much machismo, too much pride going on for one thing to happen, and it escalated to a small fight.
Yeah. He was talking to some girl. She turned around and started talking to some other guy, and he's drunk and starts fighting.
Hey man, that's my chick. Why are you talking to my girl?
Yeah.
She's not your girl tonight, Holmes.
Yeah. That's typical. That's usually what it is. It's a girl involved in a fight, in a drunken fight like that. So all it usually is out in those parties like that.
And there were mostly girl fights too.
Yes.
Because bitches be scandalous.
Well, no, because last week at the party over here, she fucked this dude. So now he's her dude, but he doesn't even want her anymore. He's trying to go after this one. And now she's pissed off because he's already moved on. So she's all pissed off. He's mine, eh? He's mines, eh?
Oh, fuck. Don't say mines. I hate when fucking they say mines.
I know, but that was there for the authenticity of it.
That was too authentic. I had flashbacks. It's fucking PTSD. Oh. We're going to go down a rabbit hole if we don't end it here.
All right. So you said something earlier about that pastrami sandwich.
Yeah.
Being $20 and a giant pastrami sandwich. I was just thinking about it because I've been thinking about trips. We talked about trips in New York and Cat's Deli.
Yes.
Their pastrami sandwich is $28 now.
Wow. Have you ever been to Philippe's in downtown LA?
Yes, many times. But Philippe's doesn't compare.
No, because it's not pastrami. Well, they do have pastrami, but
no, but what you're getting, the sandwich is good at Philippe's. I'm not knocking the sandwich at Philippe's, but you go to Cat's and it's a whole different freaking level of sandwich goodness.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that service where you can order it from Cat's and they deliver it the next day to you. They deliver it,
and the meat and the bread and all those condiments and everything. It's not cheap to do that.
No.
But it's good. But it's a
cheaper than a plane
sandwich.
Ticket.
It's cheaper than a plane ticket. But a $28 sandwich, to go there and have a $28 sandwich is ridiculous. But this is $20 an hour fast food wages.
Yeah.
Are bringing that to you. Because I swear when we went, that sandwich was $13 maybe, with a pickles on the side and everything. And it's a giant sandwich that fits a plate. I took a few years ago. Matt and I went. Ask Matt. Matt will always remember the Cats. But it was ridiculous how good it is and for the money. And then now to look at it and go, that's $28 now. Holy fuck. For a sandwich. Mm-hmm. Not even a blowjob with the sandwich, just a sandwich. You don't even get to feel any nipples either.
See, I knew you were a nipple guy. Twisting them like Play-Doh.
Twisting like Play-Doh.
All right, let's end it here.
All right, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Yep. We'll catch you next week. See ya.
See ya.